Scars Above is an interesting game to talk about. I went into it without much in the way of expectations, and more than anything I was impressed. There's something to be said about the accomplishment of the developer, Madhead Games, and that their primary genre before this third-person sci-fi shooter undertaking was hidden object puzzle games. I'll be keeping this in mind as I critique different aspects of the game, though the overall goal will still be to answer yourself the question, would you like Scars Above? The game opens with a giant structure in Earth's orbit dubbed the Metahedron. Your mission as scientist Dr. Kate Ward, along with your fellow scientists and engineers composing the Sentient Contact Assessment and Response Team, is to investigate this strange alien anomaly. After a cheesy, "Humankind has always wondered what's in space" speech, something goes wrong, of course, and you wake up alone on an alien planet. Thus commences your journey of survival and exploration with the goal of unraveling the mysteries of the planet, the object, and what happened to your crew. Information is delivered via encounters and cutscenes, audio logs, and doing the good old science-y scan and analyze to learn the particulars about objects and events. While there's nothing spectacular here story-wise, if you're a fan of cosmic horror like I am, you may get more out of it than you expected. Just keep in mind this is a AA game, and there may be some uncanny facial expressions a la Mass Effect Andromeda, but more excusable. But let's get down to the more important business. Where does this AA game land in terms of the actual game? There are comparisons to Souls-likes for sure. Enemies respawn and your healing consumables refill upon death or resting at a checkpoint. You'll spend plenty of time managing your stamina and using the dodge roll to avoid vicious melee swings or pinpoint projectile attacks, and you're sure to encounter "does not open from this side" from time to time, resulting in a shortcut when you eventually make your way around that I found to be pointless more often than not. That is because the game is incredibly linear, though this is more of an observation than a complaint. As someone who compulsively considers forks in the road, wondering if one is the main path and the other a quick dead end with loot to find, I appreciated that it was often quick and painless to find which was which, and to not be left with the sinking feeling that I failed to check for something earlier in the level. That's not to say there aren't more well-hidden areas located in various parts of the level to reward perception, but when you get the ability to scan your surroundings early on, you won't have too hard of a time uncovering as much as the map as you would like. Nothing is ever too exciting to uncover though, with common discoveries being data pads, ammo and resources, knowledge cubes which provide experience, and various upgrades. The variety in biomes are nice, however, providing not only a change of scenery, but slightly influencing the game mechanics to enhance what I would say is my favorite part of the game, the combat. Your 4 primary weapons are divided into different elements that interact with the environment, your enemies, and each other in various ways. Your first weapon fires instant bolts of lightning, which is great for hitting critical headshots on enemies, and the game is quick to tell you that it is especially effective against enemies who are wet or standing in water, which there will be plenty of as the first area is a murky swamp. Then in the following icy mountains, you'll acquire the thermic charger, which shoots a lobbed fire orb, causing fire buildup for setting enemies ablaze, as well as being capable of staving off hypothermia by creating temporary respite via flammable plants or busting holes in iced over water bodies to insta-kill enemies dropped in the freezing water. This ice-breaking tactic was satisfying, but I almost grew to have disdain for it when I instantly dispatched a new large enemy that came charging at me over a frozen pond. However, when I fought the same enemy in a different environment and had to dispatch it the old-fashioned way with significant effort, I no longer felt like the first encounter was a cop-out. On top of the elemental and environmental interactions, many of the larger enemies and bosses have weak spots denoted by color to hint at which element you should hit them with. These mechanics give Scars Above its charm, and to be quite frank, the game would be dull without them. Given the size of the dev team and budget for the game, I was pleasantly surprised with how solid the combat felt at most times. Gunplay was snappy, and while it could have had a little more oomph, I wasn't left unsatisfied after a tough encounter, and some of it was a bit tough. I played on hard as I wanted to invoke a more challenging Souls-like experience, and if I wasn't careful I could certainly take more damage than I can handle in only a few hits. I never felt like the game was unfair, however, and with well-timed rolls it was rewarding to dodge a boss's combo and retaliate with elemental explosions for tons of damage. Dying of hypothermia in a cutscene transition was kinda weird though. There are additional combat options available after acquiring the mobile printing unit, allowing you to add new tools and ammo upgrades to your arsenal. Tool usage is limited by a battery meter, but can have a significant impact during encounters. I didn't find myself using them often, but when I did, it was actually crazy how powerful they can be. The 2 standouts I saw were the gravity trap, creating a large bubble slowing down enemies within, and the hollow lure, creating a distraction to remove some aggro and allow you to easily target enemies' weak points. With effective usage, you can trivialize many encounters this way. There's a skill tree thrown in here here, but I'd be lying if I said it was in any way exciting. Most of these skills are passives, providing minor stamina, health, damage, and resource boosts. One of the only redeeming skills is an active reload, which is a sucker for Gears of War I always like to see. As you go through the skill tree, you'll end up significantly stronger by the later stage of the game, exemplifying what is probably the most glaring issue here, the pacing. I found the first 3 chapters engaging, with moments of challenge, decent progression, and some really cool boss fights. One of them, which I won't spoil, combines so much of what I like about this game that it was absolutely a highlight for me. Unfortunately, the latter half of the game really seems to slow down in more ways than one. You'll be plenty strong and likely less threatened than earlier on, enemy variety isn't exactly stellar past a certain point, and we won't talk about the final boss. The puzzles were also hit or miss for me, often slowing down the pace and keeping me away from the combat that I enjoyed for too long. All in all, Scars Above is a pretty okay game. If you like third-person action shooters, alien planets, or anything that even remotely resembles a Souls-like, I'd say it's worth a try. You'll probably have fun swapping elements to light up your enemies and the environment, and the rest is decent enough to not feel like your time is being wasted. If you'd like this game on Steam, I have an extra key I'd like to give away, so if you've made it this far in the video, thanks so much for watching, subscribe if you'd like to, and here's how the giveaway will go. All you have to do is leave a comment with 2 things. First, tell me a game you've been playing lately that you really enjoy, and second, tell me you'd like this game so I don't try to give it away to someone who doesn't want the Steam key. 1 week from the upload, I'll go ahead and select a random comment meeting the criteria as a winner. Anyways, hope y'all have a great day, be well, and keep on gaming. Bye-bye.